G'day guys and welcome back to AdosTheGreat YouTube channel. So guys, in today's video I will be going over last night's trial match between the Rabbitohs and the Sea Eagles. Basically just the Rabbitohs side of it though guys. If you want to see my full review of this game, I will be posting my podcast on Wednesday, the Great Rugby League podcast it is called, where I'll break down each game. So if you want to see my Manly side of it, make sure you go over to Spotify and check it out on Wednesday. But so in this one, we're going to do not so rapid review, but still I'm going to keep it under 10 minutes or aim to. Where we'll talk about the 5 try scorers, or technically 4 because one got a double. I'll give you my 3 standout players, and then I will give you some honourable mentions as well. So first and foremost, to kick things off, we've got the try scorers. Starting it off, we saw Tom Carr score a try on the wing. Now, I have had quite high raps on Tommy Carr. I've seen him come through New South Wales Cup for the North Sydney Bears. In 23 games, he scored 22 tries last year, and I believe in his career he scored like 50 tries in 65 games or something. Outstanding stuff from him. I will talk a bit of. Okay, I won't talk too much about these players here. We'll talk more about them when we get to the standard section. So I'll just talk about how they scored the try and all that. Dion Tiapa, probably butchering the name there. I believe it's Tiapa. Could be wrong. Let me know in the comments. As you can tell, I haven't done much research on Dion. Prior to the game, I didn't really know who he was, to be honest. I'd heard the name before, obviously. The photo with Wayne Bennett, he got a few years ago when he resigned, I believe. I don't know too much about the kid, I'll be honest with you. But he had an outstanding game. His 2 tries, the first one was a grubber kick that came off the upright. He scored there under the post, and then the second one got the pass out to Tommy Carr. Tommy Carr lobbed it back over to him. He scored the try there. We then saw Blake Taff score a try. Taffy put the bomb up. One of the Rabbitohs players got it. I can't remember who it was. And he's flicked it back into Blake Taff, and Blake Taff did a lot to catch that. Like, it was not an easy ball to catch. He caught it, scored the try there. Very good stuff from Taffy. Jarrett Sablu, I was a bit disappointed, but we'll get to him soon. Very good try. It was sort of something out of nothing. He was skipping around a bit, not too sure what he was doing, what he was thinking, and the next thing you know, straight through a gap, scored a try. Outstanding try. Great stuff. So that was the 5 tries scored there from the Rabbitohs. We're going to move over to the standout players now. My 3 now, I think the first one is obvious, had to be on the list. The second 2 are interchangeable with my honourable mentions, but my man of the match is Dion Taupa. Please let me know if I'm butchering the name in the comments. I haven't heard it too much. I don't know if the commentators were pronouncing it right. I just want to hear from you guys. So 2 tries, 1 try assist, 24 tackles, and 247 kick meters. He also got a spell, I think, with about 15, 20 minutes to go in the second half. So he did this in around 60 minutes. So huge raps for him. I think he had an outstanding game. And I tell you what, our future is looking bright. You could probably look at I'd probably have him in my team over Blake Taff in a few years. So I'd probably go Trell Mitt at fullback, Tiapa at 5'8", Ilias at halfback, and Mamuzales, when obviously Cody Walker and Damien Cook retire, in the spine. If Blake Taff is still there, I think he could be a perfect utility. So I'd be keeping him there. I think Tiapa just looks so good, and can't wait to see more from him. All right, my next one is a player that I have had raps on for a while now. Played a lot of Jersey flag last year in a few New South Wales Cup games. That is Tallis Duncan. He doesn't look that big, but I tell you what, man, when he's running at adults, he's barreling him over. Like, he is such a tough player. Very good defensively as well. In his stint, I think he had 2 short stints, so I don't know how long he played for in total, but He ran for 127 meters, 3 tackle breaks, 50 post-contact meters, and 23 tackles. Very good couple of stints there for him. Tallis Duncan, I've got huge raps on him, and I would not be surprised if he cracked the 17 at some point this year. All right, Blake Taaffe is my third one. I thought he had quite a quiet first half. He came alive in the second half when we moved him into sort of a half role, where he was playing a bit in the middle there. He looked outstanding when we did that, and I think that's the sort of role he needs to play in the number 14 jersey this year. Scored a try, ran for 69 metres, 4 tackle breaks, 1 line break assist, and 1 offload. Really good stuff there from Blake Taaffe, and I can't wait for him. I reckon he's in for a big year this year, that's for sure. All right, my honourable mentions, Jarrett Sablu. So, another player I didn't know too much about coming into this season. So, he played 1 game for the Raiders in 2020 where he made his NRL debut, only played about 1 or 2 minutes, but he's been through that Raiders system, so through the Mounties and all that for a while now. He played for their New South Wales Cup team last year. So, I thought he had a pretty good game. I think there was a few things that I was unsure about with him, but in the second half, I think he really, really took over and looked quite good. So I was pretty happy with his performance. That's why he's on my honourable mention list. Another one, Tommy Carr, as I stated before, North Sydney Bears last year, 23 games, 22 tries. Crazy stats there for Tom Carr, and I hope he does really well. Would love to see him get a crack at first grade at some point. But there's a lot of wingers that are probably above him as it stands right now. David Mwale, I thought, had a pretty good game. A few tough carries. He only scored a try. But, all in all, I thought he had a pretty good game and definitely is looking good to get a spot in the 17 somewhere when round 1 kicks off. Terrell Kalu, and now you guys might disagree with him being on my honourable mentions, but honestly, in a short period of time, he had like 4 or 5 tackle breaks, looked really good, had some damaging runs. I think he's going to be an outstanding player for us. I reckon he's going to get a lot more minutes in the Charity Shield. We're going to use him a lot this year, I reckon, especially if there's injuries or around that origin period. Second last one I've got in my honourable mentions is the Frenchman, Louis Grossamy. Do let me know if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but he spent time in the French. I'm sorry about that. My wife is being a real menace at the moment. He spent a bit of time in the French Rugby League's under-19 squad where they toured. I can't remember where they went, but they played in the European Championship, and they topped it. They were top of the table, undefeated, I believe, or they might have lost to England in a final or something like that, but they played really well, so that's huge. He was also the SG Ball under-19 captain, and I believe Player of the Year back in 2021, and he's currently I think he's still between the SG Ball and the Jersey Flag. I'm not too sure. Do let me know more on that one, guys, because I didn't know too much about Louis before this game. And I've really, since seeing his name on the team list, I've really jumped in and done a bit of research on him. I tell you what, he's a promising kid. He was in talks to go to England, I believe, but those talks fell through. That is an article I read. I don't know if that's true or not. But yeah, huge raps on him. I think he's going to have a big career with the Rabbitohs. Only young, so still a lot of development. Ben Lovett is my final player. I thought he did really well off the bench. I think expectations were a little bit higher for him than they probably should have been, but I'm expecting a big year from him. Like Tallis Duncan, I would not be surprised if we see him in the 17-man squad at some point this year. He was also the Jersey Flag Player of the Year in 2021. The Rabbitohs have high raps on this kid, and so do I. I think he's in for a big 2023. All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up from me. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We made it under 10 minutes. So, big thumbs up to me for that. But thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure you like this video and subscribe. And as always, my friends, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.